I'm quitting Spotify to do this instead. Why stop? What's next? Find out later on in the video.
Time has finally come. You spent ages working on a piece of art, your next project, your next film, your next piece of music, in my case, your next YouTube video as well. And you realize you spent so much time on it. And you're kind of anxious to put it out because you're scared what people might think. And you're scared if that will affect your character personally. But then you reason with yourself, yo, settle those thoughts. Because what matters is the art they've created, how you felt doing it, and the journey along the way. All that cliche stuff, right? So you schedule it for it to be uploaded. You post it on social media. You give it to the music distributor. And now's the time. The piece of art is now up for everyone to see. And it doesn't perform how you want it to. Day 1, you get 0 streams. Day 2, 0 streams. Day 5, 1 stream. And a like. Got that bonus like. Yes, result. I'm sure we've all been there. I'm there right now. I'm not speaking on this on a perspective of how to get out. I'm speaking on this on a perspective of someone who's living that right now. But I think I found a new strategy to deal with that. And I think that's just to assign more value to your artwork intrinsically, rather than relying on streams and data numbers. And maybe switching to a direct-to-consumer kind of distribution method. This next segment is specifically for music creators, but the same principle applies to other fields of artistry. Now, one thing that is for sure, when I started to rely too much on streaming, I lost value in what I created, which is crazy to think. It's very Black Mirror-ish, very dystopian, sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of thinking over here. But looking at the numbers, looking at these things, subconsciously start to have an effect on how you view your own artistry and view yourself as a musician or a filmmaker or creator. And that sucks. That sucks big time. So I want to change that for myself. And I don't want to do this in a preachy way, but I want to do this in a way that helps me as well. This is me documenting my thoughts. Releasing on Spotify takes constant promotion, repetition, and algorithm focus. And boy, I'm a grown-ass man, ain't nobody got time for that. Real talk, I'm married to a lovely, beautiful wife, but I've got priorities and stuff to do in this household to keep it running. I've got a 9-to-5 job. It ain't easy. It takes a lot of time and energy, and it takes a lot of mental willpower to do this kind of stuff. I do not have time to be making these kind of videos, like TikTok-y stuff every single day. Short form content, thinking of crappy memes, things like that. I just simply do not have the mental willpower and energy to do that, and neither do most people. However, I do care about depth, and I do care about, as they say, quality over quantity. That is something that is very important, I feel like, and actually much more manageable than small menial tasks. We live in an era of infinite AI music creation, curation, generation, production, all the words. And this is something that's very, very worrying. At my 9-to-5 job where I work as a barista, obviously, very cliche, I know, I get to have a lot of conversations with people who are also creatives, whether they be customers or colleagues, and they all have the same thing in common. They don't know what's going to happen to them, to their livelihoods, to their career going forward, to their hobby. It's all already being completely overrun. The floodgates have opened, and it seems like no one's really putting a dam there to block it off. I've got some statistics here as well with me, for some findings that are very easy to find. Just go on Google, search up AI artists on Spotify, and literally the first things that come up. For one, the first thing that comes up on Google are the statistics and findings that the algorithm has discovered. and this one that says upload volume. Roughly 28 to 34% of all music uploaded daily to streaming platforms like Deezer, which reflects similar trends to Spotify, is fully AI generated, amounting to approximately 50,000 new AI tracks per day. Not per month, not per week, per day. And then there's another Reddit post that I found, very close to the top of the Google thing. I said 60% of the first 10 artists in my Spotify Discover Weekly are AI artists. And he goes on to say, I've heard about it, but it's happened to me. 6 out of the first 10 artists in my Spotify Discover Weekly are AI artists. Some are verified too. And this is the time that we live in now. This is the challenges that we as creatives need to face going forward. And we need to find a way to harness it or risk being flooded away, washed away by the sea of generated fake music. If music is infinite, what matters most is intention, identity, and connection. But with these floodgates opening, it's now our perfect opportunity to hammer down, to focus on what makes our art us, what makes our art you, what makes it unmistakably human. This is our chance to figure out what our creative identity is. This is our chance to figure out how to connect with people the best way to get what we are translating in our brains, the emotions that we're feeling, the life stories that we're telling, and giving it to the other people. Not through things generated for us or beliefs that we've encountered due to AI psychosis or these kind of things there. I would rather build a small, tight-knit community than chase on-screen values or chase passive listeners. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to use an example that's very common. Say you go on Spotify and you find an artist that's just upcoming, and say he has 500 monthly listeners. Now, he might think, or she might think that, okay, we're still up and coming, I'm not as big as these people, I'm not popping, I'm not trending, whatever. But if you were to then translate those 500 monthly listeners to real life, that's 500 people that come to see you every month, regularly. That would mean more people on a daily basis, and that will give you so much emotional boost and so much emotional value, those 500 people every month. I'm choosing to build a world around my music instead of feeding a platform. Now, feeding a platform is going to be inevitable because obviously I'm still going to be uploading onto YouTube, but YouTube would be a great intermediary for me to build that ecosystem, to generate a vibe, generate an aesthetic, a feeling, a mood, create a story behind my music, to create the general vibe that I want people to feel when they hear my music, when they see my stuff. Going forward, what I'm going to do is upload on YouTube to make the world, to create those aesthetics, as I was saying, to create the story behind my songs, to create teasers, make trailers, put like visualizers or videos, just to generate a signature mood and feeling. And then I can put my full releases on Bandcamp. Eventually I'll try to push out physical media as well, CDs, records, that kind of stuff. Maybe make merch if I get fans. And yeah, I feel like that'll just be the perfect way to connect with you guys in the audience. I feel hopeful for my artistry. I feel like it's going to go in the right direction. It's going to be cool. Let's see where this adventure takes us. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you.